What's up, Shinners? It's Matty P. That's right. I bring you some good news. If you're listening to this, you've probably figured out that, the podcasts are back. The bad news is I'm still the main host. But don't worry. We've got plenty of great guests lined up for you guys. I'll be having some guest hosts as well join me. So if you don't want to be one at the end of the questions, maybe you've got some questions to ask and you'd like to join me in hosting. To kick us off this year, this series, it has really been that long. Kicking us off this year, we're going to be chatting to the people behind the South Coast Bike Trial Club. If you haven't figured that out already, it's a bike trial club based in the South Coast, setting up lots of competitions and events. So we're going to be hearing more from them. But before that, if you guys like what we do and you want us to carry on again, there's a really simple way that you can support us. If you just head to shindigmedia.com, we've got some brand new merch, brand new. And I mean brand new. There's new colours, new materials, more sizes. So if you head on to the website now, shindigmedia.com, check it out. Maybe there's something that you might want to grab for yourselves. But without further ado, let's just get on with it, shall we? Yes, we are back. The Shindig podcast. I mean, you already know who I am.
I'm Aaron Good.
And this
didn't
is
know that
Aaron
already.
Good. Yeah. We've got some lovely guests with us today, as I may have previously introduced. Mr. Luke Walder and who the fuck's that? Oh, Sean Goddard. Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hello. Hi, chaps. Double whammy
How
today.
you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. Excited to be back.
Sitting next to Matt.
Yeah, and talking trials, basically.
Yeah.
Been to a few events and lots of people have actually said, where are they? So I realised
Yeah, but why not do it now?
people are listening. So if you're listening right now, thank you.
They might not be listening right now, but they were
If you're
listening
not
earlier.
listening right now, get lost. If you are, thank you so much. They wouldn't know. And without further ado, guys, all right, let's hear a little bit from you guys. Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell me how long you've been riding and what bike you ride.
Oh, I'll go
Luke,
on
you're
first
going
then.
first. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah.
You're going
That's cool.
first. Sean talks enough, a bit
Yeah.
like me. So
Yeah, we'll have to cut him out a little bit later on. So Luke Walder. Really, I've been riding since 2006, constantly.
oh gee.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of an Echo fanboy. Obviously, that's dying off these days, so I'll have to move on. But I've been riding 26-inch since 2006. Never gone out of love with it. Always been on the case. So
Matt,
in it
it's
for the long haul,
a
as
long,
they say.
long time. Aaron, were you born then?
Yes. I was 8 years old.
I wasn't expecting
Oh,
him
God.
to say yes, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's a baby face. I know it's the baby face. Yeah, you'd never really know it from me, do you?
That's why we told you to grow a beard, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's stuck on, isn't it?
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, you guys know me, Sean. I've been on a podcast before, so I suppose you can
Yeah.
have a look on that if you want to catch up on me.
Yeah.
Has anyone else been on the podcast twice?
Oh, he's going to rinse that now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Just
Never
realised.
going to hear the end of that one.
Yeah, I've been more than twice, I think, Sean.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
Well done, Sean. Well done. But
Thanks, guys.
to be fair,
Appreciate
we're
it.
talking about. You're just here for a little bit of backup. We're here to talk about the South Coast Bike Trial Club. Brand new. Most of the listeners probably don't even know what it is and where it came from. So
How it started.
this is
Who
part,
started it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
This is part of it. So, Sean, you sharp. Let's let Luke explain this a
go on.
little bit. I mean, what is, for starters, what is the South Coast Bike Trial?
So, effectively, it's a series of events that we started this year on a bit of a whim to bring back the slightly older style of competitions. So the idea is have a few events a year. Everyone comes along for fun. There's still a podium and things, but it's getting people into it and just enjoying it. And hopefully trying to introduce some fresh faces, that sort of thing. But the main thing is bringing back something that's a bit more relaxed, but still competitive. So you can have a little competition with your mates rather than necessarily compete against the whole country. So yeah, that was the aim behind it, just to bring some fun back to trials in a competition sense.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen that as many of our other podcasts are saying that the competitions can feel quite serious.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have a day out at a UCI competition. It is like you can't have a day out with your mates. It is serious, proper serious.
Yeah,
but
Sean, what were you going to say?
That's kind of the point. That's kind of the thing with arts is you can take it seriously. You can go up and you can say, I really want to win my class. I want to beat this person, or I really want to score X. You can do that, but that doesn't dominate the whole feel of the event. The event primarily is fun, and that's what we aim for, is fun. And then if you want to take it seriously, you absolutely can, because it's positive scored. It's there's loads of people there, so your benchmark is really good, because there's such a huge number of people, so you can really get if you only got a small sample size, for example, at a club, you can't benchmark that well, because it could skew. However, if you've got the whole scene there, then you can see exactly where you are. Well, and that's kind of going for.
We're a pretty large scene in the south of the UK. Any sort of foreign listeners that will know that the UK has a pretty good scene. We're on the map, so to speak, considerably how small we are. Yeah. But there is a divide to some extent. Not necessarily a divide in friendships or anything, but there's just a physical location. Yeah, geographic. Yeah. There we go.
That's it. That's a normal way to say it.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. And of course, keeping it simple, South Coast, basing it down here, there are other clubs. There's the Scottish Bike Trail Club, the Derbyshire. They've got...
It's the Tyke Trail is up in the Midlands. And then the Bike Trail Academy also run their own. I'd definitely recommend anyone that's going to go, or going to do some competitions, to try all of them, if you can.
So it's quite a nice introduction, would you say, the South Coast?
Yeah, South Coast, again, where it's aimed at being fun. Like, we think the first gates in all of the sections that we set are generally quite easy for that route, and then they ramp up quite considerably. So it means that most people, if you're riding the correct route, you should get some points on the board.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're going throughout getting zeros and zeros and zeros. Like, and it's really demoralising, that, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly. Like 10s across the board with an occasional 20 is way better than zeros with the occasional 10.
Just so the people that might not know, Luke, would you be able to kind of give what are the scoring process, just so new listeners here might understand when we're saying positive scoring?
Yeah, no problem. So with the aim of positive scoring, you're scored in a positive manner. So the more points you get, the better you're doing. Trials historically has always been scored the other way around. I won't go into the old method. But effectively you have 6 gates per section. And the idea is if you get through a gate without putting your foot down, you'll get 10 points. So you get through all the gates and out at the end you get 60 points. Of course, but the great thing is, if you put your foot down once, you carry on, but you just don't get the 10 points for that gate, and you carry on and go through. Like the old style of trials, you could put your foot down 4 times before you have to forfeit the rest of the section. But the idea is that people come out, they can get halfway through a section and still get some points, rather than with the old method, you might get just before the end gate and fall off, and you've got nothing to show for that section. So it gives you some feedback of how well you're doing, and competitively as well, without just one simple fall wiping you out completely.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you can actually have a good ride as well. Like if you're doing doing pretty well, you can actually get through gates. Like you're actually trying and pushing yourself through certain things as well.
And I think as well, it does push people to try a harder route, because they might go, what I'll do for this competition, I'll go one route up and see how I get on, because their points would be comparable with the people in that class, even if they only get through two gates in every section, for example. So yeah, it's much more, makes it much more evenly scored to compare against your peers. One thing as well with our competitions, we're unlike the UCI, so we still allow the use of a pedal and bash. so pedal and bash
Of
guard.
course. Yeah.
So they can touch the object without receiving a dab for it. And again, this was a choice of ours to make it a touch more relaxing, but also for the younger riders that are getting into it, their technical ability will get them up an obstacle more likely that when they don't have the power because they're younger, they haven't built that
really
strength
good point.
yet.
Yeah.
But of course, rather than trying to confuse things and having it so the younger riders can still use them, but the elite riders can't, we've just made it across the board. You can use your pedal and bash. And that's just a decision we made. I think it's sort of,
Oh, no, I think it's
fun.
Yeah, it's great.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, and there'll be riders who will make their own rule and say, I'm not using my bash. You know, there are, and that's exactly what I've seen, you know, being like, I'm not putting my foot down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's one of those, like, you've got 5 dabs. No, I don't want to use any. It's all or nothing. Yeah, and that's a personal choice, I think, you know, and
that's definitely what we see from the elite riders as well.
Yeah.
Because in the majority of competitions, the elite riders can't use their pedal or bash guard anyway. And of course, if you put a foot down, you're going to lose the points for that gate. So it's all or nothing for them.
Yeah.
And if they want to ride our comps that way, that is perfectly fine.
Yeah, as long as they're riding your comps, you know, as long as people are there and actually riding, then it works for you, and it works for them, doesn't it? So
another point, just on that, is that at the AGM for the Bike Trial Federation a few years ago, they were talking about the gap between blue and red being too large, because like the top of blue and the bottom of red is quite a jump. It's not so much if you're an adult, but as a child, like the step between. But also at the national competitions, it goes pedal and bash or up to blue. And then it's above them red and yellow are UCI. And that makes that gap larger, in my opinion. And they were talking, there's lots of ways to discuss to close that, like using cadet in the middle of it. And
so I didn't know that. I just learned something. So you're saying even in the UCI, even in blue, they can actually use their pedal in that then, can they?
No. So in the National Cup, which is the series run by the UK Bike Trial Federation, up to blue is BIU, and then red and yellow is UCI.
I genuinely, I did not know that. No,
but the national championships is run by either the UCI or the BIU. There's two events. So the UCI national championships, which we had a couple of weeks ago, is full UCI rules, and then shortly there'll be the national BIU, and that is full BIU rules. But the national cup is a split.
Okay,
I see.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple.
Well, I'm actually very glad you guys had I mean, especially down south now, we very much feel like I myself or Aaron, I mean, we're not competitions riders. We did enter a couple of them.
I did enter back in the day.
I tried.
For sure, and then dropped off big time.
But it's something that's sort of been missing in the south here, 100%.
For sure.
What kind of, how did you even start that? How did you start the whole idea of it?
I would say it came from me getting fed up of hearing all the old boys going on about how good the Hampshire comps were and how we should do it again. And there was this mixture of saying, Hampshire comps were amazing. If they were back, I'd do them, and so on. No one wants to take it on. It's too hard. And then there's also, alongside that, there were people saying, it's not really worth doing. And I scratched up the numbers and I said, well, if we actually charged £20 rather than £10, the numbers kind of work out. You can break even on a much lower number.
Plus, it was so long ago. Inflation's a thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Our rent's just gone up 7%.
So but then I actually hadn't ever ridden a Hampshire comp. So I spoke to both Rich Smith and then Luke, and they're both like, yeah, come on, let's do it. And it would have just been one of my ideas that would have got packed away if it wasn't for Luke and Rich.
Oh, 100%. I know you've got hundreds of ideas, Sean, but it was like, another one of Sean's ideas, but like there's someone else behind this. It's way too organised. It's like an event, and then I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like,
something.
Luke Walder's, secretly doing it, not me.
Pretty much.
So who is the team behind it? So you obviously
have you got any people you want to sort of recognise?
Go on, Luke, run for it.
Yeah, right. So obviously Sean and myself, then we've mentioned Rich Smith, who is Have No Limits.
Yeah.
I didn't know
He's in and
quite
helps
that
when
way
he can.
involved, like properly in it.
Yeah.
Sam Wheeler, who you both know.
Yeah.
And
I think so, yeah.
Rob Leach. I don't think he's ever been mentioned before on the podcast.
Rob Leach, he finally made it on another one.
He's got more appearances than Sean.
He's listening to this one now, and he's listening. I probably haven't asked him yet, but he's on my list.
Yeah. No, we've got to get Rob Leach on.
Go on.
Aside from that, so we're the main ones that will go and set out on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But one thing, obviously, everyone says this at an event, it's not possible without observers.
Mm-hmm.
So although, we set the event up and we do observe some of the sections, we do heavily rely on other people that observe, and it changes at every comp, and we really appreciate them. So
and just to be clear for everyone,
I don't want to forget about that. Yeah.
All of these people, all the listeners here, just in case you didn't know, they are all volunteers. They all volunteering their time. Sam and Rob and Luke making these sections the day before, essentially giving up their personal weekend so that we can have a laugh and mess about on. So it's just before we go any further, guys, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks, mate.
Without, because there's
problem.
one of those things that only takes thoughts and ideas, and you think, oh yeah, that's easy and all this, but I know that you would have pushed Sean into helping, and of course, as the FXN infrastructure has sort of helped to get the ticket sales.
Yeah, there's the federation really helps, to be fair. I got a lot of help and a lot of pointing in the right direction from David Johnson. I was constantly ringing him up, just saying, "Oh, what about this thing? What do I do about insurance? What do I do about this?" And there's so many.
Your consultant at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, David.
But yeah, just going back to who's involved with Luke covered who's currently involved with this. Essentially, this is going to be, at the moment it's run inside FXN, but we're going to break it out now because we initially weren't sure if it was going to be successful. We were like, oh, we might get 10 people turn up, and we had 50 on our first event. It was nuts. But that it's still run. It's going to be run on its own voluntary thing. It's going to be its own, not almost charitable organisation. And if anyone does want to come and help, they're absolutely welcome to. Like, there's a number of things I still think we could do better. We're only 3 events in, but if anyone's got any ideas, any feedback, wants to help.
Well, you go. You heard it from Sean. They are open to feedback, good or bad. It's all feedback.
Absolutely.
It's all feedback. And by the sounds of it, if you can just get involved, rider or not,
just turn up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll definitely have something for you to do.
If you've got a pair of hands, then you can do some work.
I don't even think you need that nowadays.
Just a brain.
Yeah. And so you're saying it's sort of, right now, it's sort of unofficially under the FXN umbrella, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mainly for ticket sales, right?
So it's more from all the paperwork and all the legalities of running an event or setting up an organisation. We didn't want to do that initially if it failed after 2 events.
Of course.
So it was because you've got to go out, you've got to set up a business and so on, and there's loads of paperwork and all that sort of stuff you need to do. Whereas we just said we're running it in FXN for the first year. If we decide to do a second year, then great, let's crack on. And we're only 3 events in, but we're definitely going to carry this on, and we're definitely going to break this out now.
That's good. It's really good. Where do you think you're going to see it going? And what's the future for?
Well, what you hope?
Yeah. What's your goals? What's the goals?
So we talk a lot about. We have this sort of this pyramid of riders. You've got sort of white, green, blue, red, yellow. And the numbers it should increase from the bottom to the top. Currently, I think where we've had no young riders, blue's probably the heavy slab at the moment, and then it springs as you go up. What we want to really do is just want to feed in white and green riders, get as many of them involved in the sport as possible, get them to come along, have a go. If you're a mountain biker and you fancy it, come and have a go. That we would just want to feed the bottom of that pyramid, and then that will just fill filled the spots over the few years.
And age isn't an issue. I mean, Luke,
No.
you're much older than Sean. You don't have to tell us.
Not that much older. Come on.
10 years,
Actually,
10 years
that's true. I forget Sean's way older than I'm.
Well, he's way older than me then.
There's me thinking like Sean's well in his 30s and me getting like forgetting. But what I mean by that, Luke, is kind of there's no age limit here, is there?
No, well, at the last event, we had one of the organisers of that club at that venue. He rode on his electric mountain bike.
Yes,
I
was going to mention
lowest
that.
level.
Yeah. I was going to mention
his
that.
e-bike.
Yeah, that was really good.
Lionel, and he had a great time.
Yeah.
He's a motorbike, yeah. So he's a motorbike trial guy, so he's got a bit of balance there. But he's well into his 60s, and he still had a great time.
Yeah,
and
he surprised himself. I mean, I was one of the observers that day, and even I remember his wife going, "No, don't tell him how well he did. He won't. He'll live on this for weeks and weeks." But amazing example, Luke. You actually we just fed it to him, and he said it. But so any age, 60 years old, 6 years old. What's the youngest? I mean, what is the youngest rider you've had?
Oh, I don't know. Talk about something else. Find out.
Sean's going to find out, but
I'll say about the lower limit. So effectively, your basic requirement to be able to enter is be able to ride a pedal bike. So if you can pedal your own bike and you're 2 years old, crack on, come and have a go. I mean, obviously, everyone under 16's got to be accompanied by an adult for insurance, etc., which is normal. But of course, and if you ride a mountain bike and you can ride around a vaguely sharp corner on your own, you can do it. So it's one of those things. And there's no ageist, like we're talking about this, there's no limit to age or anything. There's no one's going to judge you for whether how young or how old you are or what ability you're riding. Everyone's there for the same reason, to challenge themselves and have a good time.
Yeah.
So for example, so I'm 36, and I'm still borderline between blue and red.
Yeah.
So between intermediate and expert, and I've been riding 16 years. So, but there's no shame in how good you are or how bad you are or anything. Just come and enjoy it.
Not at all.
So, yeah.
Do you think ever there would be a level that you would put in there that is in between blue and red? I know like the UCI do one as well, but do you think you would enter one too?
Or do you think there's demand for it? So one thing we've said is if there's a demand for a specific category, we would consider adding it. So, for example, if unicyclists wanted to come and join in, but they didn't want to get thrown in with all the bike guys, would do their own category. We'd keep the rule; they'd follow all the bike rules and everything, rather than the unicycle trials rules. But they could come and do it. They can come and have a go, and we'll make their own route for them. The only thing is, there's got to be a demand for it to be able to put that extra time in to do it.
More people, more time, more effort.
So very much. If there's demand, we'll do it. If there's demand for brakeless, we'll do it.
Well,
if there's demand for retro, we'll do it. Like,
we'll tell them, everyone, feedback. This is it. You know, they go and chat with amongst their friends. Oh, they should do this. They should do that. Go and tell them. If you're talking about it with your mates and said, could be this, could be that. If you haven't told them, that's just.
Well, we're not going to improve on it if we don't know.
No, you're not going to find out if you don't ask.
Well, that sort of leads on to, I wanted to ask about like some form of, you said it's coming its own entity, so to speak, its own group, its own club. Do you have any plans to have like a base or an actual club where people could go and train?
I think this is something it's been discussed quite a lot. This is maybe like the end game, as it were. But looking at like numbers and so on, it'd be a long way down the line if it did happen. But it would be really nice, like for us to, like we could do this over and over. If the events keep growing and the numbers start going into triple figures and so on, then yeah, definitely. But at the moment, it's more about. I think that's like a goal on the horizon. At the moment, we just want to keep making the events better.
Of course. I mean, it's a much further down the line, but the reason I ask is I'd like to think that that's where it might be going. You know, of course, you would still have the the comps in different venues, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's something we've actually started talking about before we started the comps, was the possibility of having somewhere that is like a bike park for trials this way, just because why not? So yeah, it's something we've constantly been talking about and would love to add at some point. But sadly, none of us are people that own a lot of land, so it doesn't come easily.
Anyone that's listening, if you know, like maybe, someone's listening going, I've got loads of land. You'd be like,
if they do, get in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The demand is there. We're all asking, indoor, outdoor, whatever. We've got the people, so to speak, to build it.
100%, yeah. Everyone will
we've
chip in.
got
Everyone will chip
everything.
in. Everyone will
We've got
definitely
everything
chip in.
apart from the space.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we really haven't we? We've got all the numbers, all the insurance.
Well, you're saying about these numbers. I'm really curious to get some figures now. Just FYI as well, I definitely signed in on the wrong account because it's telling me I've got 5 minutes left on my meeting. That's fine. We're keeping it short and sweet with this. It's fine. It's all good.
All right, start rattling through them.
Well, we're looking down at the cheat sheet and we're like, we've pretty much covered it all.
No, listen. I want to know, like, just so others out there, like, how many people have entered overall already? And this is so fresh, isn't it?
So I had a look earlier. It's 76 different people at the moment.
That's some serious numbers.
Over 3 events. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people,
yeah.
mate. Yeah.
Only 3. It's not like they've been going for a year or so.
No.
No.
I mean, I guess you had a good base beforehand, like FXN. Everyone knows Sean and FXN, and all the riders kind of came together in one big group and just said, "Yeah, I'll go."
The support's been amazing.
Yeah,
I got to say that. Like, thanks to everyone that's come. We were blown away when it went. We thought, 15 is kind of where we want to get to, and then it went 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. We're just like, what is going on? And it just. Then we started getting worried. Like, I had a sleepless night before. I was like, is this venue going to be good enough? We've got 50 people. If they're not happy, this is going to be a mob.
It was a mob anyway.
What's been your favourite part, Luke, so far of sort of doing the South Coast Bike Trial?
Oh, just watching everyone ride, because I've been observing most of them and everything, which is far more enjoyable than I ever expected.
Can I just agree with you there now? Now I've done it. 100%. I'm an observer, not a comp rider.
Yeah, Matt, you really get into your role as such. You do. You're pretty good.
I was
observer.
a bit of an observer/minder, so I think if we got audited by UCI, I definitely would have lost my job.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go
on.
It's the seeing everyone get through the sections and enjoying themselves doing it. And one thing that really stood out was when you've got a couple of younger mates. There's not many youngsters that come along, but they seem to sort of come in pairs or threes.
Yep.
And they've got their own little thing going on. They'll help each other. They'll laugh at each other when they fall off. and they're just having a fun day. And then of course you see the guys that we know and we ride with anyway, even whether it's Charlie Rose and Andre or down to people like myself and Sean. It's just everyone having a good time. And some people end up, at the end of the day, they end up on a podium with a medal. Yeah. They're over the moon.
Proud as punch.
And that's what makes it worth it.
And the medals do look good every time. So it looks like, you've earned that really nice medal, especially when it's the
sneak peek.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to add too, which is fantastic, we're a lot of like the medals, and then we're getting sponsorships from local, I don't want to say, local brands or local companies. There's so many different words for them. That's kind of getting the name out there. Just to name a few: Have No Limits, of course. Mind Control. Look at that.
And 2 guys, the Shindig.
This is
the next event, Brackendean. So Have No Limits sponsored again.
Medals. We sponsored one.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that, guys.
Something along those lines. If you'd like to sponsor them, guys, feel free to get in touch. It's one way to get your label on the medals, and it'll be something that someone will remember for
sit on the mantelpiece
for as long as their riding career.
And also if it's a brand that has a product, like we're always looking for things to award the winners. So if you've got a product that you want to get out there, at the end of season championship, if you're looking to donate something to give to the winners on the podium, that would be appreciated as well. So yeah, we want to make it as worthwhile for the riders as we can.
And when is the next comp? What's the date, Sean? We know it's at Brackendine.
Yeah, so it's at Brackendine. It's on the 17th of July.
17th of July.
Yeah.
Put that on your diary.
Yeah.
The weekend after Radfest.
Might be hilarious. This might come out 5 days before that. So if you hear this
That'd be
now,
perfect.
it's not too late. Go and get your ticket right now. You can go and enter. Go to fxn.global store.
No, just FXN.
Just fxn.global.
Oh, almost.
I would have got it right.
Yeah, you almost got it right.
And you can actually enter into the competition, any level, as we've just said.
Yeah.
Like, and any bike, by the sounds of it.
E-bikes, mountain bikes, trials bikes.
And if you're not sure, just send us
unicycles.
a message on FXN and we'll sort you out.
We might
Penny
cut out
farthing.
in a second. If we do, it's fine. I'm going to fix it, and we'll just put a nice gap in. I'll
Nice
mend it all.
little.
I don't know how that
Put this in. Matt, put this in.
it works. It works.
Please do.
I
Put that in as a frame.
really want to see a BMXer. Someone
Yeah.
on an actual
that'd be great.
BMX.
Yeah.
Like,
Brakeless BMX.
oh, a break.
Mason Parker. He's
There we go. He's been called out now.
I'm calling him out. He's gonna be.
Now we
Gonna
just
have
need to
to-
get Tom Mitchell
Tom Mitchell.
on a brakeless. On a brakeless.
Oh, Tom
trials
Mitchell
bike.
and Flip having a go.
Oh, and we're back. I don't know what happened there.
Nothing happened. Nothing
Nothing
happened.
happened.
Nothing went
I
wrong.
don't work with technology.
No, it's not your job.
Bring Hutley back. This didn't happen with
Yeah, this is my fault.
Oh no, brilliant.
What were we saying
This was not
before
good.
we had some technical issues?
Yes, we were calling out some BMXers. We
Yeah.
said to Tom Mitchell, we were like, yeah, let's get some brakeless trials riders. But essentially, it is actually for anyone, and we're not just. We genuinely mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
completely.
I don't know if I've seen. I don't know if I've seen enough people thinking, oh, I can do this on a mountain bike.
No, we had a couple of people. So we had at the first one, we had someone that lives near Sean that was on like a 21-inch frame mountain bike.
Yeah, Nick.
Never done trials before.
Owns
and he
a
had a
Charles
great
bike
time.
as a result.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ding
And
ding.
there was one guy, I think it's Adam Collin.
Adam,
was on
he signed up to Brackendine.
Oh, brilliant. But he's on like an identity dirt jump bike, I think it
Yeah.
was, isn't it?
There's Dr. Jekyll, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh! Now I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about as well.
That is,
Yeah, I remember him
it's
from.
almost more
Nationals.
impressive. Like that is unbelievable.
Do you remember where we met him, Matt? That Adam Collin.
I vaguely, you probably know the story better than me.
So he watched the shindig and wanted to come along and got in touch with me at FXN and said, how can I come along? And I was like, we're going out in London. And he met us in Westminster.
Yes, and now Adam's
And
had
now
his
he's
first
doing
mention on the
Carlton.
podcast.
There he goes.
Hey,
Yeah,
there you go, mate.
It might be someone for you to get on, actually. See, because he's like brand new, exposed, isn't he? Doesn't
It's
he
one of
know the
those-
trials like that?
We definitely peaked way too early. People are like, who the
Yeah.
hell are you? They're the most listened to now. I look back on last month. Obviously, I haven't released anything for probably almost a year. And it is all like Opie, Martin Ashton, Ali C, and those
course.
people are still getting listened to. But we're going to bring you some conversations for our community. I'm starting to do these podcasts for us, you know. So there'll be some lower... Not lower level. That was
That was a
that was
dick.
terrible.
That was a
lower
dick,
level.
wasn't it?
That was I'm on sort of,
If it's
Gonna
lower
keep it in a
level, get
local
more people.
radius.
oh,
That's what I'll say.
less known. You know, there's
Less
not,
known, yeah.
less known in a better way. Because now everyone else, I get on, they go, am I low level?
You haven't met the
Well, Luke was
requirements.
the start of this, wasn't he? That's why you got Luke on.
Yeah. Now we just do one of just Walder and be like, oh, thank God we got rid of Sean, isn't it? Luke, do you want to tell us everything you hate about Sean?
Oh, mate, that'd need hours.
Yeah.
I'd go knock his door. He'd have the doorbell ring halfway through. And it'd be me there.
No. Well, just to remind everybody, you can find out a little bit more on the competitions here, the South Coast Bike Trial. By going to the FXN website, you can enter there. There's a section that says events, and if you click onto that, there's a list of all the upcoming competitions, and literally the enter that enter applications are as simple as what? Sean, can you tell us a bit more about the application?
Yeah, so it's like name, address, date of birth, phone number, route you're going to ride.
Done.
That's pretty much it.
No,
and
so
again,
no license needed.
no licenses. I still think it's a bit complicated making people choose their route beforehand. I don't know what the solution is to that, but if you've got any issues and you don't know what green is or red is, or just give me a shout, we'll have a conversation, we'll work out what way you should enter, and then have a go.
And they
if
can.
we do get it,
So I was going to say you can change it on the day if they needed
yeah,
to,
you can,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So
as long as if you ride 3 sections and feel like it's not for you, come in, we'll sort it out, we'll swap it about, and we'll just change you. It's no issue.
it's that opportunity. If
you can go up or down in difficulty. So if you've gone in one that you feel, oh, maybe I should have been in the one up, you can change up or down.
Yeah.
So yeah, just basically got to let us know as early in the day as possible, or at the end of 3 sections. So yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, we've said it already before, but thank you so much for starting that. This is very early days. I'd
Good
like
early
to,
days.
yeah.
Good early days though.
There's one thing I want to ask from both of you that you can say to your future selves now about the South Coast Bike Trial. So we might look back on this in a year's time, and I want you to talk to your future self, so to speak. Is there anything? Yeah, now look at them ponder. I like this.
I've never seen them this quiet.
Usually, I know, I've given them a little bit of fire to get ready, but I'd like to catch them off guard. What's something you'd like to see in the future for South Coast Bike Trial? It could be very simple. I'm trying to help you with some answers.
I would like to see triple figures at an event. That is, for me, that's a big
cool
little milestone.
There we go, little milestone there.
Yeah.
I like that. A tripled figure event. Yes.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to see. We covered it earlier, but a little briefly, but a bit of sponsorship. It doesn't have to be big brands or anything, but to give the riders something to work for. So rather than their personal goal, they go, if I get on the podium at the end of the year, I'm actually going to win something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, they're going to get a medal anyway from us. But, of course, because it is a small event compared to many, the money isn't there just to buy loads of prizes.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I'd love to see people entering an event, one for their personal achievement, but also to go, oh, if I win, I might get this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
Although we don't want to make it materialistic at all.
But that is part of winning.
Give them a reward.
Like, I totally understand what you mean. It's part of winning.
Yeah.
It is getting and remembering that, whether that be anyone who wants to contribute like something small or even big or anything. If you feel that you can contribute and offer to these events, then get in touch with Luke or reach out to FXN. They're always wanting volunteers and clearly more riders.
We have got. Well, we're in. I've got confirmation from one brand. They're going to sponsor some stuff. I don't want to go too much into it.
We can wait. We'll wait for the official announcement.
Teaser.
Yeah.
And then there is another brand who's a much bigger brand who are potentially open to it as well. So there could be, hopefully, if everything comes together by the end of the season, some half decent prizes for tops of podiums.
If we all pull together, then and I mean everyone who's going to the competitions, the volunteers, the people entering, it's up to us to make that happen. Really, if we can prove to XYZ, seatless frames. I'm just making up names now. Seatless bike frames are using that as a sponsor, and then they suddenly go, oh wow, this is a pretty legit
big
competition.
Yeah.
They've got World Cup riders there, because we do. There's World Cup riders that come and compete. So I don't.
It's been an easy pitch, to be fair, because we say whenever approach anyone, just say we've got some of the top riders in the world turning up.
Yeah.
And we're selling more tickets than the nationals. It's an easy pitch.
There you go.
Already.
Yeah. And then
why wouldn't you?
I'm gonna jump in and say what mine is for next year. I want to see foreign riders.
That's
Oh,
a
working
big
on that as
step
well.
up.
That'd be
That is
good.
I know.
a big
I
step
think
up.
it's going to happen.
yeah.
I'm chatting to people going, "Oh, are you in? Sorry, you're in England at that time. Oh, there's a competition. You don't need to be in the club. You don't need to be English."
I think we're talking to the same people.
Very much so. But that's the point. If we pester them enough, they're going to be like, "Wow, this must be good."
Yeah, absolutely.
You know. So just
And one thing
remind-
as well, like the trials community is so good that if someone is considering coming and doing it, but you're not sure about what to do, transport, where to stay, get in touch with us.
Mhm.
Like we can give you links, we can tell you what to buy, where you need to go, all this sort of stuff, and help as much as we can. To the end of the day, we want people to come and enjoy it. So yeah, we're happy to help if people from other countries do want to come.
As it sounds like, as well as an epic events team, they've got a very good support team. You know, and end user support there, like you said. Heard it from Luke. If you're not sure, reach out to them. They'll give you the answers. Now I'll know. I'll just
You can only but ask. And you'll find out.
yeah, exactly.
This is going to go out in the answering questions on Instagram is going to be a full-time job, isn't it? After this.
Yeah, we did say reach out. Well, you could set up a little feedback link on the web or something. I mean, we won't even go in, but you know where I'm
all
going with
joking
that.
aside, I really don't want to deter anyone from asking any questions. There are no stupid questions.
No.
Just give us a shout if you're unsure about anything. We just want to see people there. So if we can make that happen, we can make that happen.
And now I see like I might have. Maybe I should do one of the comps on my mountain bike, my single speed, on a fixie. Wow! Now we're getting ideas. Talk about being fun. I mean, that's a great video, isn't it? I did a fixie on a competition.
Well, your fixie's got no chain at the moment, chainless.
Chainless, brakeless.
Chainless, brakeless, seatless, brainless.
Yeah, you're just going to die, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like saying that now. I may have dropped myself in it, but it would be.
Are you
entertaining.
doing it, aren't you?
No, we
do a Brackendine where there's a stream as well. Just
there's water in this one too.
Water is not good at the best of time with a trials rider. Let alone we've got no chain.
I must go and
or
have
brakes
a look for it anyway. But, guys, right? Anyway, we won't keep you any longer. I need to get and stop making the podcast 3 hours long because people get bored of us. Thank you very much, guys, for coming to chat to us. I'm really positive about the future for South Coast Bike Trial, and I'm really happy with how you guys have done it and how it's going so far. Free events.
All the events that I've been to have been fantastic. Good fun and just enjoyable experience. So
you've been to all three as well, haven't you, Aaron?
Have I? Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron has.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm
the Shindig have.
A veteran.
And
the Shindig have been to all three.
We'll do our best to have presence at each one, as we say. I mean, we are street riders, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as we're all together with our bikes and the cliche thing, having a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So
the community is small as it is. Let's try not make it any smaller.
Yeah, Matt, we really appreciate you observing at the last one as well. So if you don't fancy riding on your fixie, you're welcome to observe again in the future.
I think that might be the way forward for me. I realised I learned a lot observing. I really did. More so people's names as well.
Because
I feel bad. Yeah, because I like know everyone's face. I'm like, hey, dude, it's just so annoying. I'm like, I should know your name. And now it kind of is breaking that gap where now I can sort of have a more personalised relationship with a lot of the riders, and help them when I probably shouldn't be. But I'm like, yeah, quick, to the left. So just one last time, Sean, where can they enter these competitions?
FXN.global. It'll always be on there. We're making a real point of getting our competitions out as early as possible, so you can see where they are now. There is one bit of news. The round 5 has changed from Ham Lane to Seymour's Arena.
Okay, yes. We'd like to... Did we go Ham Lane?
That's it.
That's the impossible driveway, isn't it?
The massive steep hill,
yeah. And Seymour's was a great venue. And Luke, what were the dates of the next competition?
Next one is the 17th of July at Brackendine, so Chertsey Way. on the M25.
Nice.
Nice
So
and close.
this will be out before then. I'm not exactly the exact date, but
we'll have to get it out before then.
Well, it will be now. And you, like Sean said, head to the website and get that. Guys, thanks again very much. We have been the Shindig Podcast. My name's Matt Pengelly.
I'm Aaron Good.
And we shall hopefully see you at the next one. Make
See you
sure,
at Radfest.
yeah, if you haven't already, I think Radfest would have happened by the time this comes out next week. So, one last thing, if you haven't already, we've got new Shindig merch. Look at these new sports
We've got
tops.
new stuff. We've got colours, different colours coming
New
out.
colours.
What a plug.
There's
What a
grey,
plug.
there's black, there's white, there's red. We've brought red. We've gone for an inverted shirt. We've got a colour palette and we tried to stick to it. Stay on brand, so to speak.
Yeah, red's just almost
Yeah.
off it, but it's working fine.
It's a nice, simple way for you guys to contribute to carrying on with the Shindig. We are still making vlogs. We are bringing back the podcasts. There will be some big names as well as some names you won't know. But I'll tell you what, they'll be fun to listen to because that's what we're going to focus on. So, guys, thanks again. And we'll see you this weekend.
Yeah. Thanks for
Take care, lads. Bye bye.
Take care.